I really like to whenever, and I know that's probably not going to happen here today, but feel free to drop in the comments. Like if you've already hit a 10K month, there's a different strategy we use than if you're trying to hit your first consistent 10K months. And so it really depends. Like which one do you want me to answer for? Or do you want me to do one and then the next one? What do you want?
First one, then you can do a second one.
Okay, cool.
Hey guys, welcome to the Entrepreneurs Warrior Show. This is where hosted by me, Nilesh Jain, and this is where we interview entrepreneurs, affiliate marketer, coaches, and consultant. And in this amazing series today, we have one of the super gorgeous guests with us. She is founder of Cierra Lueck Consulting. She is an organic group growth expert. She is author. She is a community engagement strategist. She helps to create a community movement that sells, and she helps so many clients to hit 5 to 7 figure a month on consistent basis. So without further ado, let's have Sierra on the stage. So hi Sierra.
Hello, what's up, guys? And I actually pulled up, so because we're using StreamYard today, I pulled it up on my phone so I can see comments as they come in and who they're from.
Oh,
What do
wow.
they have to do to make sure that their name pops up for us in StreamYard?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So they if they register on StreamYard, then we are able to watch their name as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
cool.
So guys, if you are with us on live, drop hashtag live. With us on replay, drop hashtag replay, and make sure you take pen and paper, notepad, whatever you have, because Ciara is going to share with us lots of golden nuggets. So Ciara, really grateful to have you on the interview show. So how are you?
I'm fantastic. I mean that's not the best question to start with. Start with a different question.
Okay. So thank you so much once again. But it's a really great to have you on the show. So are you hearing me loud and clear before we start the show?
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like when I announced that I was going to be live on Facebook with somebody today, and so I just tagged somebody down in the comments, and she's tuning in live with us. What's up, Danielle?
Oh, wow. Thank you. So yeah, great to have you. So before, can you tell us a little bit about yourself on how you started in this online marketing business, so my audience get to know about you much better?
Yeah. So I actually what I do in my business is I'm a community engagement and monetization strategist. I've actually been doing stuff like that for local organizations, like churches, local churches out here. I started with that when I was a teenager, and what I did with them is like churches like never have a very big budget, and so everything we had to do was organic, and it didn't have like we couldn't throw money at ads or do billboards or do like anything that was paid outreach. We couldn't do that. It all had to be free. And so I had to figure that out from a very young age. And so I've actually been in the industry and doing stuff like this for about 20 years. And it all started locally. About 14 years ago, I have 5 kids, just in case anyone doesn't know. And my oldest is 15, going to be 16 this year. And then my next youngest, when he was first born, I was actually jumping into the online world, into online communities. And there was this website called Cafe Mom. And it was more, if anyone's ever been on Reddit before, it was kind of Reddit style forums. That was how the groups were built. I became admin over lots of groups at the time. And what I found was that there would be some groups that, like, 2 groups would start at the exact same time and they would be for the exact same purpose. So they should have the exact same target market. But one would, no matter what they did, would stay really small. And the other one, it just seemed like it took off like a wildfire. It was insane. And so I started studying that out. I'm still on that pursuit to know like what are the things that could be catalysts for people who are brand new and starting out. But that's when I started, was about 14 years ago in the online world. Facebook groups did not exist at that time. And we actually made a transition over to Facebook at one point from Cafe Mom with our group. And it like totally bombed and did terrible because in the beginning, Facebook groups were really like crude. They were rudimentary. They were very like juvenile in nature. They weren't very good. And so we actually were able to, about 3 or 4 years ago, I started jumping into Facebook group stuff again and testing it out. And they had done so many improvements. And now with 2.8 billion daily active users on Facebook and over 280 million groups, you actually have so much more opportunity because of all the advancements they've made on the platform. Did that answer the question?
Yes, definitely. You answer very well and really great golden nugget. So I'm really grateful that you have 20 years of experience and you are on the show. So guys, this is not just something random. You are going to learn so many things from an expert. So so you help so many clients to hit their 5 to 7 figure a month. So what is the one specific framework or strategy that you teach them to hit that mark?
So realistically, it depends on what people need to hit. So I really like to, whenever, and I know that's probably not going to happen here today, but feel free to drop in the comments. Like if you've already hit a 10K month, there's a different strategy we use than if you're trying to hit your first consistent 10K months. And so it really depends. Like which one do you want me to answer for? Or do you want me to do one and then the next one? What do you want?
First one, then you can do a second one.
Okay, cool. Also, I see somebody said hi. So it just on my side, it just shows Facebook user, and somebody else put live, and it just says Facebook user. So I can't see who those people are. So make sure you log into StreamYard or whatever it is that you need to do so that we can see your name. Because I love to engage and interact. And if you have questions, I'm definitely down to answer. So feel free to drop questions in the comments. So that being said, when you're trying to get to 10K months consistently, and that's where you're starting out, and you're jumping into using social media for the first time in the online world, I actually give this to everyone as like, go do this, because if you can have something go viral, this is the action. If you can have something go viral, you get a ton of visibility, which is what everybody is trying to purchase. It's why people pay for ads. It's why people go do speaking engagements. It's why people come on as a guest like me today, because they're trying to get more visibility. And so visibility is something that you need so that people can hear when you do decide to make an offer of some sort, and so that people can actually have the opportunity to purchase. Like if you can imagine just being a store in a city, you're a grocery store in a city, but you're away from the town. Nobody knows you're there. You don't do any kind of marketing, and you built it. Nobody's going to know about it until you start sharing. And so visibility is the first thing you need, because if somebody finds that there's a grocery store, they'll go and check it out. You know, if somebody hears about it from their friend, they'll go and check it out. If they start doing any kind of advertising, they'll go and check it out. But until you actually have that visibility, you can't make sales. And so the very first thing you're trying to do is just get visibility, and just answering questions and comments. That's not good enough. That's not going to get you high visibility, maybe 2 or 3 people. But if you can drop something that's viral, like a viral question, maybe something that's a little bit polarizing, and I teach viral questions all the time, but if you can drop a viral question, it's going to get you several hundred people knowing who you are immediately. And now because you've started that conversation, and because you've led that conversation, now you have all eyes on you, and they're like, okay, this person's the leader. This person's a leader inside of this group. Who is this person? And they go to check out your profile. And that's where you want to make sure that your profile is primed, that when you're going out and acting as that leader, that people can come back to your profile. They can know exactly who you are. They can know exactly who you serve and how you serve them, and what result they will get by having you in their life, because then you'll get friend requests and you won't even have to do all the friend requesting yourself. So
that's a really great golden nugget. So as you mentioned, you need to have visibility, and that is definitely a true fact if you wanted to grow organically. So, and you mentioned viral strategies. So, would you like to share 1 or 2 example of viral type of content questions, so my audience
sure,
get value?
sure.
Yeah.
So a couple of really easy ones is like using some kind of a binary question where it's like a this or that. And so it just means that they only have 2 options that they get to choose. And it makes it really simple. It's like, just to give an example of how to leverage viral questions better with this. Do you mind doing an exercise with me? Okay, so you're gonna have to unmute for a second and then do this exercise with me. Okay, so I'm gonna give you choices, and I just want you to choose something, and then I'm gonna give you we're gonna go through 3 of them. Okay, cool.
Definitely. Cool.
Okay, ready? So, hot drink or cold drink?
Cold drink.
Okay. Red or blue?
Blue.
Okay. Hearts or circles?
Hearts.
Okay, cool. That's it. That's it. Do you see how easy it was for him to answer for anyone listening? It was
Yeah.
so simple for him to answer. So
Wow.
if
That's
you
good.
can leverage a binary kind of viral question that gives people easy answers, it's like not difficult for them. They don't have to think about it. You'll get a lot higher engagement faster. And if you can make it polarizing, where I wrote a book called Not a Sales Book. And when I was in the process, we wrote this in 2 days. It was all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday, and then we had it published by that night. And my editor was like actually editing the book while I was still writing the rest of the book on a Tuesday, or yeah, it was on a Wednesday. And it was so funny. But while he was writing the book, he's like, he said, editing your book is going to make me rich, and I'm already implementing the lessons. So it was so funny though, because he went and he posted a viral question, and his viral question was something about the fish salmon, which is something that a lot of people have a distaste for, and they either love it or they hate it. And so he said, salmon is the best in the world and you can't convince me otherwise, or something like that, something along those lines. And when he said that, he got so many people who were like, salmon's disgusting, salmon's gross. And then there were other people who were like, no, salmon is the absolute best. I totally agree. My favorite recipe is this. And like people just were, it blew up in less than 24 hours on his personal profile. He had over 300 comments. And so the concept there is if you can do something that's kind of polarizing. So with his polarizing binary idea was that it's either yes, you love salmon, or no, you hate salmon. And so those were the two different thoughts that people could choose from, and it was polarizing. And so because of that, everyone who engaged on that post is now going to be tagged in the algorithm on his next post, and they're going to show that post to more people. So it's just one of those things that gives you higher visibility.
Loved it. That is literally a mind-blowing thought you just
Daniel
share with us.
Grantbaum, what's up, man?
Yeah, we have lots of people there. Daniel, well done. Thanks, Daniel. So yeah, I understand you are a Facebook community expert, and so how a newbie can start their own community and grow it to their first 1,000 members or their first 10,000 members, if a newbie or an intermediate person. So what is your thoughts?
So honestly, in what I do, I go for quality over quantity. And I'm not trying to grow a really big group really fast. I'm trying to grow a high quality group with a pardon my language, I'm going to say kick-ass culture. But I'm trying to grow this amazing culture inside of a group. And I want it to be high quality so that when I do talk to people, I'm not wasting time, my time or their time, because they're very qualified leads. And so you can do, the only time that I would do it different is if I have a low ticket e-commerce product that's kind of geared for anybody. So when I say low ticket, I'm thinking like sub $300. If we're doing a low ticket e-commerce product, or we're doing some kind of affiliate products or something like that, I would definitely go for volume. I would go for high volume. And in that case, you want to go with what would be kind of a viral style group. Like I'm actually, I'm JV partners with somebody who has one of the top 10 groups on Facebook. I think it has like 1.2 or 1.3 million members now. And that group, it's just keto for beginners. I mean, so it's like instantly, like it's a viral kind of topic. Like lots of people, it's geared, like it's a wide net. Anyone could apply. That's like anyone who's trying out keto, anyone who's testing out keto, anyone who's a keto expert, anyone having to do with keto would come to that group. And one of the other groups that we're in talks with right now, and we'll see about like partnering and leveraging with them to help with their group. It's a puppies group, and it's just basically like support and advice for puppies and dogs. And that's more of a viral style group. So if you want to have high volume and you're not going for quality, which again, if you're going to do a higher ticket offer, I would go for quality over quantity, because we're not wanting to bring in a bunch of unqualified people. But if you're just going for higher higher numbers, then I would go for something that's more viral style in nature, something that would be easily searchable, something that lots of people, it would make sense for them to jump into. And then there's a lot of like, I don't mean this in a negative way, so don't take it negative, but there's a lot of gimmicky kind of things that you can do to grow those really fast if you're only looking for volume. Does that make sense?
Yes, it is makes sense and literally a golden nugget there because quality over quantity. That is literally a one key thing that is everyone want. Like they need quality people. They don't need a quantity. If uh, Ellen Wilder, she mentioned like she made six figure with just 12 people. So because of quality, that is literally a great point you get right now. So okay, so once people enter into my Facebook group, so what is the best practice do I need to follow? So I nurture them in a very well manner and I close them as my high ticket clients, or as I convert them into customers. So what is the best practice to follow?
So I like to think of marketing as like marketing and sales as wooing, as a relationship building. So it's like when you would woo the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, the things that you do are very different. You don't go up to the person and try to, and pardon me, because I don't know if this translates for everywhere in the world, but you don't go up to the person and try to get like a one night stand with them. When you actually want to spend the rest of your life with them, maybe start a family, do all these brilliant and wonderful things with them in the future, you actually take the time to get to know who they are first. And so one of the things that we always do inside of a group is we start with a welcome strategy that nurtures them and starts the conversation immediately, not to sell, but to get to know the person and to get to know where they're at and what's going to be the best stuff for them to start with. And then we can turn them on to, like, we always have live videos that they could watch from trainings in the past, or we have some other like supplements or documents or like PDF guides and different things like that that might help them exactly where they're at, to woo them in a sense and to treat it like we want to actually have a long-term relationship with this person, not just a quick sale. And so we start with a welcome strategy, a first impression strategy. Like, what's the first impression when they come in there? I mean, you think about it. What's one of your favorite restaurants you've ever gone to?
It's nearby my place, hometown. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what was it about that made it your favorite?
Because of the beautiful view of lake and top. It's a top restaurant. Yeah.
And is the food really great?
Yeah, definitely. It feel
And then how's the service?
best.
Yeah. Okay. So there's all of these things going for it. And if you can imagine, there's other restaurants you've been to, but this one's your favorite. This one's one you want to go back to again. This one's one you want to visit again. And it's
Definitely.
all about the experience you got when you first came there. Because I can actually tell you too, like, I have a bunch of favorite restaurants myself as well. I also have restaurants I never want to go back to again because when I got there, the atmosphere was, ugh, the service was meh, the place wasn't very clean, the food wasn't very good. And it's just one of those things that it's like you want people to come into your group and have an amazing experience from the moment they get there. That first impression is everything. And so if you can give them that really great experience with that welcome strategy coming in, then it sets the tone for the rest of it. And then you get them turned on to things that give them value immediately, that help them and get them quick wins immediately. And then when you make the offer inside of your group, because as a leader, it is your responsibility to put out the helping hand, because a lot of people, they won't ask for help because it makes them feel helpless. It makes them feel weak or little, and we don't want them to feel like that. So if we offer the help to them, they are a lot more likely to say yes. So when you offer that as a leader inside of your group, if you've nurtured them really well, then that's the point where they will say yes. You'll get a lot more yeses in your sales. You'll make a lot more sales in the future.
That is literally a mic drop point that is you just share with us. Definitely, guys, please share your biggest thought with us. So if we see most of the time in our people, in our community, if we have a good number of people, even though 100 200 is a good number, but we don't get that much engagement from our group. So what is the one thing that we need to do, we need to apply to get as possible as engagement with in our group, in our community?
So the best thing you can do to get higher engagement in your group is give people a reason to want to come back. Like, don't just give them value for the day, give them a reason to want to come back. I actually base a lot of the principles. So a lot of the principles come from the local community stuff that I did starting out, but then I started jumping into the YouTube world a few years ago. I haven't actually launched my channel yet. Don't ask me why. It's coming soon. We actually have a bunch of reels we're about to start putting out as YouTube shorts. But I started getting a lot of strategies from different YouTubers that I was following, that I was purchasing into, that I was getting strategies from. And what I recognized there is that there are some YouTubers that it's like I'll see one of their videos and I'll go to their channel and I'll look for more because it was just so fun. It was entertaining. I had an amazing experience. Maybe I got a lot of knowledge because it was one of those people who is just doing educational style content. Whatever the case may be, there's a reason for me to come back and look for more in the future. And there's also a reason for me to binge it. And so I like to, whenever we're building up new groups with people, I like to create bingeable content inside of the group, stuff that people could come in here and they could either binge watch or binge read. They could just kind of get lost in it. I've always done that with my personal profile as well. I want people to be able to get lost in my content and just like love what I'm doing. And so that's kind of what we do inside of groups as well, is just like, what would actually be bingeable and what's your slice of the market? So the very first thing, and I should mention this too, the very first thing I always start with all of my clients when we're building out their groups is a one-to-one diagnosis call. And on that call, what we're diagnosing is that deep resonating reason of why their business exists in the first place. Because one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of entrepreneurs make is they'll launch an offer and they'll go after it for a little while, and then they'll shut it down and they'll launch a new offer and they'll go after that for a little while. They'll shut it down, they'll launch a new offer, go after it for a little while. But if you really understand the deep resonating reason of why it exists in the first place, then no matter what offer you give to your audience in the future, it's still going to make sense because it's all geared around that same foundation. So that's one of the most important things that you'll ever do for your business, is understand, why are people going to buy from you over the competition? What is your unique slice of the market?
That is literally great thoughts you are sharing with us. So guys, please share your thoughts and your love to Cierra. So according to you, and you are from last 20 years in the market, in the industry, so according to you, what is the future of community building? What is the future of Facebook group, especially Facebook group? If so, what is your thoughts?
For the immediate foreseeable future, I see Facebook groups continuing to grow. They've actually been throwing and sinking a lot of money into making Facebook groups better for people. They've also been sinking a lot of money into advertising for Facebook. And where it sits right now in the market, if you use the Facebook group, Facebook actually does a lot of the promotion for you. And so if you're using any other kind of like forums or other forms of community building, I would jump over to Facebook groups, just because Facebook does a lot of the work on your behalf, which is so cool. And so I see that continuing to grow, but I also see like my offer and what I do with my clients, it transcends Facebook. It'll work on any platform that's out there. And so I do see us transcending Facebook at some point. There's a lot of people who they want a better user experience, and they're trying to create platforms for that right now, which is why things like Circle exist. But still, Circle just doesn't have the addictive quality of Facebook. So Facebook is kind of addicting because it's fun. They built the algorithm to only show you what you want to see more of. So, and you also get this dopamine hit every time you're on there. You don't get that on things like Circle or LinkedIn groups or some of the other groups that are out there, because just not as many people are there. And the more people you can have around you and that community being built, the better it's going to feel for all of the users. And so it's more about leverage. I don't see Facebook groups going away anytime soon, so I would jump into that. They are making a lot of changes all the time. As long as you have a good solid strategy in place, what they tweak in the algorithm or what they tweak with other other like little settings and stuff like that. Facebook is always changing settings. As long as you have a strategy that transcends that, which is what we do, it won't affect you. Because if you can give people a reason to binge watch, if you can give people a reason to want to come back in and check in on your content inside of your group, come check in with their friends, if you can give them that fulfillment from your group specifically, then you don't have to be dependent on the platform or the algorithm.
That's literally a great point. And thank you so much for sharing this insights about Facebook group. Really great. So any funny moment in your life that happens and that gives you a smile when you are in the frustration, or something you feel stressed, but you thought that one funny moment from your life, in your business life, in your personal growth life, any funny moment you want to share with our audience?
Oh man, funny moments. I don't know. I do a lot of I sing at the beginning of all my lives on like my personal lives. So when I was going live on my personal profile, or when I go live inside of my group, I sing and I butcher things. So I take a lot of imperfect action. I didn't used to do that. I chose to be that kind of person. I put it into my morning vision map, the stuff that I read off to myself every single morning, my not just affirmations, but like who I am, who I'm stepping into, who I am becoming, all of that. I put it in there. But yeah, I would say there was this one time I went live inside of my group, and it was like it was this was in the last like 45 to 60 days, and I went live inside of my group. And when I was live inside of my group, I actually ended up getting a call from the bank to confirm one of the payments that needed to be paid out. And I was just sitting there kind of scrambling because I was like, I have to do this because my person on my team needs to be paid and I'm not going to not do this. And I'm like, why are they calling me? They're supposed to call my accountant. And I just like, I tried to put it on mute and I was like, I don't know if we're on mute or not, guys, but if we're not on mute, you're going to get my social security number and I guess we'll just like turn this off later. But it was crazy that I actually had to take a call on live, but I still like, that's embarrassing, but I still did it anyway. But it was funny. And the people who were on live and tuning in live with me, like they didn't even care. Like it wasn't even a big deal to them. And so it ended up being cool. But I mean, there's lots of stuff. There's so many different things. I actually wasn't prepared for that question. Nobody's ever asked me that before.
Awesome. So guys, that's literally great thing. And so we have one question from audience. Where was that? Guys, we are here for a few more minutes. So if you have a question, you can ask us. And that one question.
Yeah, if you're tuning in live, make sure you comment down below. Put your name because it shows up for me as Facebook user and I can't see your name. So put your name down in there, comment down below. And then if you watch this on the replay, make sure you comment replay down below. Let us know you were here. What's the question?
I'm not able to find it, but if you are on live, just drop your question on once again. Might be he deleted. So yeah. So you are. Can you share your?
I did see one question down below. So it said how to bring high quality leads, because I talked about earlier getting that initial visibility and bringing up like if you're going for volume, we're not looking for quality. You can only choose one. You can either have quality or you can have quantity. And so if you're going for high quality leads, I leverage viral questions in very specific other groups. That's one of the quickest and easiest ways for anyone starting out. So I know I talked about viral questions earlier. If you missed it, go back and watch that. Maybe rewatch it a couple times, take some notes, come up with some ideas of what you could do. But I go into other groups that I know for sure have my target market and are just swimming with my target market. And I'll ask viral questions there. And that's where I'll add friends. But it's going to be in groups where I know that they're highly targeted. And so there's going to be because there's so many groups on Facebook, it's really easy to find groups. And I would go for something at least 10,000 members, maybe 30,000, 50,000, or 100,000. You don't want to get too high because then it's less likely that your stuff will just kind of get lost in the shuffle of all the other posts in there. But if you can find one that's a pretty active group that's very highly targeted and pretty engaged, I would go in there and I would drop one of those questions. If you go into a group and you're like, say your target market is high ticket clients, if you go into a group with high ticket client, like high ticket kind of people, and they don't allow viral questions, the thing that I would do is do like an introduction post. about myself, and something that's just kind of fun and engaging, and asking a question to everybody there and saying why the group is relevant and why I'm so glad to be there, something like that. If you do an introduction post, that's another way to just get some pretty, like I call it like cheap engagement, because it doesn't cost you much to do it. Like it's just like super simple and easy to come up. It's really easy to talk about yourself, right? So, I mean, it's super easy to talk about yourself. It's super easy to do viral questions. Those are things that you can do that take you almost no time and get you a lot of engagement really fast. Somebody wrote the word question. That's not a question. I can't answer that one. I'm sorry.
No, he is mentioning like, yeah, this is the question. When I
Okay,
saw the
cool.
question on the screen, yeah. So, where do people find you, Sarah?
So right now, my Facebook friends list is not full yet. It is getting up there, but it's not full yet. You guys can add me as a friend on Facebook. You can see my name right here on the screen. In case you can't see it and you're just listening, it's Cierra. My last name is Lueck. And you can also join our group. Our group right now is called Money Making Groups, or that's facebook.com/groups/groups make money. And there's a lot of groups. Yeah, thank you. Awesome. There's a lot of groups out there that are called money making groups. I recognize this after I built my group. There's just so many. I didn't see it before it started. But so there's a lot of groups out there called money making groups or money making group or something like that. This one is specifically for high tickets. So for getting high ticket clients or having high ticket offers or high ticket businesses, that's what this group is for. So you'll see my image and my face on the image for the group.
I dropped a link in the description section or in the comment section.
And if anyone wants the book that I mentioned earlier, it's available on Amazon for purchase. I make almost no money on that, so like it's not even a big deal. You don't have to purchase it. I also have free PDF copies of it too, so you guys are welcome to reach out to me and ask for a free PDF copy, and I'll send you over the link to get that.
I'll drop the link of the book as well in the comment section, in the description as well. Thank you. So, guys, show your love to Sierra, and Sierra, really grateful to have you on the show, and really you share lots of golden nuggets and mic drop points in our show. So really grateful to have you. Before we wrap up the show, would you want to share 3 piece of advice to the entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, intermediate entrepreneurs?
Did you say 3?
3 piece of advice from your experience.
Okay. Number 1, if you are not at 10K months consistently yet, it is 100% mindset. It is nothing to do with your tactics. It is nothing to do with your strategies. It is 100% your mindset. And the first thing that you need to do is get your mindset in order, because you're not taking the actions that you need to take. Anyone, like no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing, you know the actions you need to take, and you're not taking those actions. And it's 100% because of your mindset. In fact, is it okay if I share a brief story real quick about what I had to do?
Please.
So I jumped into a 30K mastermind. I've spent over 100,000 and invested over 100,000 into my personal growth and my business's personal growth over the last 2 years. So I jumped into a 30K mastermind recently. I had to leave a 10K down payment for it. And I didn't have the extra 10K in my business's budget without taking money away from paying other people or paying SaaS or all of that. I didn't have an extra 10K to jump into that. I hadn't budgeted for that. And so I had to go find the money. And I applied for credit with probably 15 different companies, which is crazy. I don't do this all the time. But the thing is, and the point I'm trying to get past right here is, it's not even a money issue. A lot of people think it's a money issue and why they can't jump into one thing or another. It's not a money issue. It's a mindset issue. I found a way to make it happen. I found the credit bureaus that would approve me at the time so that I could get that credit and leverage and jump into that program. And I'm so glad that I did, because since jumping into that program, I've already implemented one of their models, not even very well, again, imperfect action. And I've made more money than I was expecting to make just on my own. So anyways, that being said, number 1 is everything to 10K a month consistently is mindset. And then when you want to level up to the next level, it's always mindset. It's always the limitations that you're putting on yourself that's stopping you from achieving that. It's not anything to do with tactics or strategy. It's the limitations you're putting on yourself. Like we'll say stuff like, I can't do that, or I don't have time for that, or I don't have money for that. And that's all a mindset. because it's not about resources, it's about resourcefulness. You hear Tony Robbins say that all the time, right? So the second thing is, one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is don't make long-term decisions based on temporary finances in your business. Once you do start making money and you bring in money, a lot of people will get in like 4,000 or 5,000 and they'll be like, cool, I'm going to jump into ads. But they don't actually realize that it takes several months to make ads work effectively. And so even if you do make money, it's not going to be enough and you're going to be deficit spending. And what that is spending money that you don't have, that your future self is responsible for, which by that time puts so much pressure on you that when you're building stuff, it's stressful and it's not fun anymore. And when you're building stuff from a place of stress or making sales from a place of stress versus a place of fun and enjoyment, that energy is transferred over to those other people too. So now you're not just putting stress on yourself, you're putting stress on the other people. So don't make long-term decisions based on temporary finances that you just achieved in your business. And that's two pieces of advice. Okay, so one more is going to be I'm going to go back to the mindset thing for today. It's like your personal growth is the most important investment that you will have in your business, because unless you're growing as a person, you won't be able to grow your business. Like every single entrepreneur that I'm connected with, they prioritize mindset, they prioritize physical health, they prioritize like learning in their skills and their niche and their industry. Like they continue to do education and not like going to school and getting a degree, but actually learning from experts in the field and finding masterminds that they can be a part of, reading books or taking courses or listening to books on Audible, like whatever it is that they're doing. Prioritize your personal growth. It is the number one place that you should be investing. And it's the one thing that nobody can ever take away from you.
Loved it. Loved it. Literally mindset, and don't make long-term decision and personal growth. This is the 3 point is mind blowing, and the entire interview show is like great. And this 3 point is literally mind blowing. It's literally, once again, Cierra, thank you so much for sharing tons of golden nugget with my audience, and thank you so much for joining us live. I'll be joining you in a minute. So till then, have a great rest of the day. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Most welcome. So